Unit 3, Solving Equations, Retest Review. Before we get started, remember that when you retest, you are going to be getting 10 extremely similar problems. So make sure that even though right now you're watching the video and getting the answers this way, make sure you can get all these answers by yourself, okay? All right, we're going to start with the first one. We are solving for x. Remember when we're solving, if you have parentheses, deal with them first. And we get rid of parentheses using distribution. So 3 times 2x is going to give me 6x. And 3 times negative 1 is a negative 3. All right, this is equal to my right side, which is 4x plus 15. All right, at this point, I really want this 4x to be gone. Like, I really wish it wasn't there because that would be pretty simple. So let me get rid of it, right? It's a positive 4x. I'm going to get rid of it by subtracting 4x from both sides. Make sure you subtract from the 6x, not the negative 3, right? You want to make sure that you're subtracting it from its like term. All right, so you're going to subtract, and you're going to get 2x, right, minus 3. This is going to be equal to 15. Your next move, remember, always save whatever's touching your variable for last. So we're going to save that 2 for last, which means right now I'm going to deal with this negative 3. I'm going to add 3 to both sides, and I'm going to have 2x is equal to 18. All right, last but not least, we're going to get rid of this 2 since it's multiplying x. We're going to use division to get rid of it. And we're going to end up with x is equal to 9. Okay? Please take a moment and make sure that you check your answer, all right, by plugging it back in. So in my calculator over here, I'm going to type the original problem. I'm going to do each side. So right now I'm just doing this left side. I'm going to do 3 parentheses 2x. But see, I think x is 9. So I'm using 9 instead of x. And then minus 1, close parentheses. Okay? And let's see what we get. All right, we get 51. Now, we're going to make sure that on the right side, over here, we're going to plug in 9. And hopefully we'll get 51 again. Let's see here. Times 9 plus 15. Press enter. Okay, we get 51 again. This means that we are correct, right? Our left side and our right side are equal when x is 9. All right, so my answer is 9. Okay? All right, let's move on to problem 2. Problem 2 is another problem where we are solving. It is a little bit simpler unless you're scared by a fraction. But y'all, we have calculators. We're not scared by fractions. All right, here we go. First things first, there's no parentheses. There's no like terms to combine. So we go ahead and we start solving, right? We got to get rid of this 2/3 and this 2, and just like the last problem, save the number with the variable for last. So I'm going to deal with this 2. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. So now I've got 2/3 n is equal to 6. Okay, well 2/3 is just a number, and that number is multiplying n. So to get rid of it, I'm going to divide by 2/3. Okay, in my calculator, I'm going to type it in just like that. So I'm going to 6 divided by 2/3. Now I'm going to use alpha y equals, so it looks like a fraction in my calculator. Alpha y equals, numerator, denominator, right? First option, press enter. And now we're going to type in 2/3. Okay, all right, this is going to give me 9. So I guess n is equal to 9. Coincidentally, right? Same answer as the first problem. Don't forget to check your answer. So I'm going to plug it back in. Alpha y equals, I want 2/3 again. 2/3 n, right? I'm typing this in my calculator. So I'm using 9 for n because I think that's my answer. Delete that. Okay. Parentheses 9, parentheses plus 2. Okay, when I press enter, since on the right side I just have 8, I should just get 8 right now. And I do. All right, so we checked our answer. Let's look at problem 3. Here we go. All right. Problem 3 is phrased kind of strangely. It says, what value of x would make this equation true? Well, we're still just solving for x, right? That's just another way you might be asked about it. Okay, we have to deal with our parentheses first. Now, remember that there is a negative 1 right there, okay? A negative 1 right there that we have to use. And that negative 1 is what's distributing into this parentheses. So the 5 we're just going to bring down. It's just staying the same. And now we have negative 1 times 2x, which is negative 2x, right? Now we have negative 1 times negative 3, which is a positive 3. And this is equal to negative 4. Now on this left side, please notice that you've got a positive 5 and a positive 3. They're on the same side. Just add them up. So really, I have negative 2x plus 8. Okay, and this is equal to negative 4. Now we can start messing with both sides because there's no more simplifying to do. Okay, I'm going to get rid of the 8 first by subtracting 8 from both sides. So now I've got negative 2x is equal to negative 12. All right, last but not least, get rid of that negative 2 using division. And I am left with x is equal to positive 6. Okay, now don't forget to check your answer here, right? In my calculator, we're going to plug in this left side, and hopefully when we press enter, we'll get negative 4. All right, we got 5 minus parentheses 2x, and now I think x is 6, so I'm typing that in. And then we have minus 3, close parentheses. Okay, when I press enter, I should get negative 4. Let's see if I do. I do, so I know that I am correct. All right. Problem number 4 is a little bit strange. Remember, we called these literal equations. We're solving for the variable r just by manipulating everything else that's in the equation. So we're going to start here with problem 4. All right, I'm solving for r, which means this 2 and this pi need to go away. When you're doing these problems, remember to ask yourself, well, what are 2 pi doing to r? In this case, they're multiplying. So to get rid of them, we're going to divide. You don't care about c right now. C's on the other side of the equation. We're not worried about it. So I'm going to divide by 2 so I can cancel out my 2's. And I'm going to divide by pi so I can cancel out my pi's. So on the right side, now I just have r, right? That was the goal. I solved for r. But don't forget that whatever is done on the right side must also be done on the left side. So we're going to have 2 pi over here also. So my answer to this is c divided by 2 pi is equal to r. Okay? Remember to keep the goal in mind. All right. Problem 5. Here we go. Problem 5, we have a proportion to solve. And we've got denominators that are kind of crazy. So we got to remember that in this case, we are cross multiplying. I'm going to multiply 5 times x plus 3. But I got to make sure 5 is multiplying all of this denominator, right? The whole thing. That's why I have to use parentheses. Guys, if you don't use parentheses, you will not get the right answer. So 5 times x plus 3 is going to be equal to 4 times my other denominator. So 4 times x minus 2. At this point, we don't even need this anymore, right? We set up an equation to solve, and now we just go ahead and solve it. First thing we're going to do is distribute. So I've got 5x plus 15 is equal to 4x minus 8. All right? There's nothing to simplify on each side, so I'm going to go ahead and start moving things around. All right, this is the one I don't like. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to subtract 4x so I can cross it off. On the left side, I'm going to do the same thing. So now I've got 1x plus 15 is equal to negative 8. All right, now I just need to get rid of this 15. I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides. And now I've just got x. I don't really need to write this one. X is equal to negative 8 minus 15. You guys, be really careful when you've got these negatives. If you want to type this in there, negative 8 minus 15, just to make sure we get it correctly, we can. Remember, we're getting more negative. So our answer is going to be negative 23. All right, negative 23. Before you move on, please make sure that you check your work. All right, now this time we got to do both sides here, so let's do it. All right, on the left side, we're going to plug in 23 for x. So 5 parentheses, negative 23, negative 23 plus 3. All right, let's see what we get. All right, the left side is giving us negative 100. So on the right side, let's hope we get negative 100 again. Let's see. All right, 4 parentheses. Okay, negative 23 minus 2. Close parentheses. All right, we got negative 100. So we know that negative 23 was the right answer, right, because we plugged it in and the left side was equal to the right side. Darn it. All right, here we go. Backside, flip this paper over. Let's go ahead and let's look at problem 6. All right, in problem 6, we're given this equation, 6x minus 3y is equal to 6. And we are asked, what is the value of x? Okay, well that question is really hard to answer since we have two variables. We have x and we have y. So what you guys have to remember is that they gave us this information right here. X comma 4 is part of the solution. What they're really telling us is that they want us to use y. They want us to use 4 for y, right? Because that 4 is in the spot where y usually is. So instead of saying 6x minus 3y, they're kind of telling us to use that number for y. So I'm going to use 4. So I've really got 6x minus 12 is equal to 6. All right, we're going to start solving. I'm going to add 12 to both sides. So now I've got 6x is equal to 18. And last but not least, divide out that 6. And we've got x is equal to 3. We can check this answer again, right? We're going to plug in this equation, 6x. Okay, I think x is 3, so I'm using that. Minus 3y, well, they are kind of telling me to use y for 4. And when I press enter, hopefully I get 6. I do. So I know that I am correct. All right, problem 7. Tyra can read 3 pages of her literature book in 6 minutes. How many pages can she read in 150 minutes? Well, it tells us to use a proportion. And we know that if we're using a proportion, we just need to stay consistent in how we set these up. So I'm going to say pages compared to minutes. And that's how I'm going to set up my proportion. So Tyra, we know, can read 3 pages in 6 minutes. So how many pages can she read? Which means we don't know pages in 150 minutes. 150 minutes goes on the bottom. Once you get it set up, hopefully we can solve this real easily. We're going to cross multiply. We're going to get 6p is equal to 3 times 150, which is 450. Go ahead and divide by 6. And we get p is equal to 450 divided by 6. P is equal to 75, right? So 75 pages. Problem 8. Here we go. Problem 8, we are talking about tax. All right, so Sally has to pay a 9% tax. Before we move any further, let's recall that 9% is the same as 0.09. Some students remember this by moving the decimal place 2 times to the left, and then they just know to put in a 0 if it's missing. Others use their calculator. Just remember that percent means per 100, so 9% is 9 divided by 100, which is 0.09, right? Either way, hopefully we can arrive at 0.09. All right, so 9% tax on her purchase. Well, her purchase was $159.50. So we know she's going to pay that much, right? $159.50 plus tax, right? Okay, well, how much tax is it? Well, it's 9% of her purchase, so 0.09. Now, we can't just leave it like this because this is just saying to add 9 cents, which we know 9% of this big number is going to be more than 9 cents, right? So we must remember to multiply the 9 times the original price, okay? This right here is just the tax, and we have to add that to the original price. So in our calculator, we're just going to type this in, 159.5, or 0.50 if you feel better about it, plus 0.09 times 159.5. All right, close parentheses, and we get $173, and I'm going to round up to 86 cents. Okay? So that's how much she's going to pay total, right? The price plus tax. Question 9. Lila's age is, so I'm going to stop because I just read something I can write down. I can say Lila's age, so Lila age is 6 years less than. All right. When you read 6 years less than, okay, it's less than something, right? 6 years less than something. Okay, less than what? You keep reading. 3 times Alan's age. So we're going to say 3A. 3 times Alan's age. 6 years less than that. All right. We keep reading. If Lila is 18 years old, well, okay, so we don't have to call it Lila's age. We can say 18. They're telling us she's 18. If Lila's age is 18 years old, how old is Alan? Well, luckily, once we know we have 18 here, we can just plug it in, and we can solve for A. Okay, now remember, our goal is to get A by itself, which means this 3 and this negative 6 needs to go away. I'm going to start with this 6. So I've got 24 is equal to 3A. And finally, divide by 3, and we've got 8. All right, so Alan is 8 years old. Last but not least, problem 10. The cost, C, of hiring an electrician is given by the formula C of H is equal to 35H plus 40, where H is the number of hours the electrician works. If the bill for his services is $215, how many hours did he work? All right, let's write this again. C of H is equal to 35H plus 40. It's telling us the bill is $215. How many hours? So we don't know H. Well, what do we know? We know the total cost. Guys, this whole formula is telling us how to calculate the cost, right? So if we're being asked to find the hours, then we must know the total cost. So this 215 is what we use for the total cost, right? It's not just notation right now. We know the total cost is $215. So we're going to plug it in and find H. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 40 from both sides. All right, 215 minus 40 is, let's see here, 175. So 175 is equal to 35H. And to get rid of the 35, we're going to divide. So I've got H is equal to, divided by 35, 5. All right, so my answer must be 5 hours. Okay, this is also a really easy one to check because if I just multiply, okay, it's 35 times 5 plus, what is it, 35 times H, so plus 40, I should get 215, do I? Okay, I do, so I know that I'm correct. All right, I said it at the beginning, I'm going to say it at the end. You guys need to make sure you can do all 10 of these problems by yourself before you take the retake, all right? Because all 10 problems are very similar. Watch this video as many times as you need to. Good luck.